Welcome to the Industry Insider, brought to you by PromoCorner. Each week, promotional product professionals Meg Erber, Jeff Franklin, and Stephen McFadden, along with special guests, will discuss industry news, trends, and events with a focus on educating the promotional products industry. The Industry Insider, the nerdy news you need to know.
Welcome to another edition of the Industry Insider, your promotional products podcast, where you can get all the nerdy news you need to know about. My name is Jeff Franklin, National Accounts Manager with Headwear USA, and I'm joined today by two other lovely folks this week. This broadcast is brought to you by our good friends over at TechWeld. When you're thinking about promotional items and stellar customer service, made in the USA products and business solutions, you got to think TechWeld. TechWeld's an award-winning promotional product supplier, having received the Distributor Choice Award in the sunglass category and the SAGNY Supplier of the Year Award. Check them out at techweld.com and find the customer service you deserve and the products you need. Think TechWeld. They've got hand sanitizers. Due to the coronavirus variants, it's something that's still trending worldwide. The CDC still recommends sanitizing and washing your hands to help prevent the spread of the disease. And they've got many sanitizer SKUs that help combat the spread of the virus. Remember to think TechWeld for your promotional product needs. TechWeld's a leading supplier of promotional products with a huge inventory of made in the USA items available to help distributors grow the bottom line today. Visit TechWeld, that's TEKWELD.com, and check out their drinkware, sanitizer kit options, and much, much more. And tell them the Industry Insider sent you. We've got a lot of hat wearers today. Normally, I'd be the one wearing the hat, but hey, Meg, how are you?
I'm doing good. I was doing a fun little video with my coworker outside earlier, and I came inside. I was soaked to the bone. It was so hot outside and all the takes, but so I got my workout in early today. But yeah, I'm doing great. How are you doing today, Jeff?
Nice. I am flustered. A lot going on in very little time. Very, very little time.
So we see a kid running behind you. Pay no attention.
It might happen. It could very well happen. I don't know. I mean, we are pre-recording this episode, and it is post kindergarten, bedtime, so it could happen. It could happen. Stephen McFadden, how are you?
I am doing well. I'm about to take off on an airplane tomorrow morning at 8 in the morning, heading to Nicaragua.
Where are you going?
I'm going to Nicaragua on a mission trip.
Are you going to tour Drew Estates? Are you going to smoke some stogies? What are you going to Nicaragua for? Come on.
Well, it is funny. I'm in a group chat and they were like, "Is anyone checking baggage?" I'm like, "I'm bringing 4 bags." They're like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "I'm just kidding. I'm not bringing 4 bags." I was like,
sniffer dog all over you, Steve.
Yeah, that would be a big red flag, I think. So.
Yeah. Well, listen, we're going to have a relatively brief, or more brief than usual, podcast today, but it's going to come at you hot and heavy. We've got all the spice today, guys. It's going to be a fun episode. It's why we decided not to go with a guest this week, because we don't want anybody throwing themselves out there for the wolves, except for us. I mean, we're happy to do it for you guys. So, look, this is if you watch what is the name of that show with the hot wings, Hot Ones? That's what it's called. You guys know what I'm talking about, right? Mm-hmm. The YouTube show that they do with all the celebrities. Meg's nodding like she doesn't know.
Mm-hmm.
No,
yep. I sure do.
Awesome. Never mind. We won't even go with that reference. Forget you guys. All right, cool. So we're going to talk about industry hot buttons. All right. We've got some really cool, I guess, hot buttons or topics that we're going to discuss today. And we're all going to come at it from a devil's advocate point of view, or however you want to frame it. Okay.
Do we need to read the disclaimer beforehand?
I mean, whichever topics or whichever opinions are I guess, put out there are not necessarily our own opinions. It is just I don't know.
No, they are strictly our opinions.
They do not represent the.
Maybe they're not. Maybe they're not. I mean, I may feel one way about a particular product or category that we're going to discuss, but it might not actually be my opinion.
Basically, what we're saying is that you may not like what we have to say, and that's too bad. Sorry.
That was not what we were saying, but but maybe.
I mean, come on.
All right.
Meg.
All right. So, first one. Here's a good one. All right. COVID was good for the promotional products industry. Lots of silence here.
You want me to start?
Yeah, go ahead, Stephen. Why was COVID good for the promotional products industry?
I'm going to take maybe it's unpopular. But it's my opinion. And this one is my opinion. I actually think it was good for the promotional products industry. And I think I referenced it maybe on a previous podcast as well. Citing things like technological advances in the promo industry that we were behind on, that this forced us into, whether it be inventory management, things like that. There is another, a few components that I thought of while thinking about this. One of which was, we mentioned at the beginning of this, where you said, hey, my kid might be running around in the back. It's like, that's been every meeting I've had for the past 2.5 years, including with my customers. Like, I've never been in my customers' homes. I have now. Like, I've been in for 2.5 years. As I've been invited into their homes. I've met their families, their dogs, their kids. Like, talk about personal connections that we didn't used to have pre-COVID. I mean, we would always meet in public places or on a phone call. Now I see their faces like 10 times more than I did pre-COVID. I've met their families. I've met their kids, their dogs, all that. Not to mention, my customers are way more patient than they were pre-COVID, because all of their orders are delayed as well. So they understand, like, there's all of a sudden this magical light bulb of understanding by all of our customers of, oh, no, we get it. We get it that stuff's out of stock. We get it that it's more expensive. I'm like, when has that ever happened? Like, we were ramping up in 19 where things had to be faster, cheaper, and better.
Yeah.
And no questions asked, or we'll find somebody else. When COVID happened, they were like, thank you. Like, okay, we'll wait an extra week, or we're a little more flexible. So I don't know. Those are my bullet points, and I'll let it breathe for a minute.
Do you want to go, Jeff, or do you want me to go?
Yeah, I mean, look, I can see pros and cons. So I'll play the fence here. So COVID was good for the industry for several reasons. I mean, obviously, it has, for the employers that were out there that were kind of hesitant to allow people to work from home, they have finally found out that people can actually be just as or more productive working from home than not. Now, there's a whole mental health component that goes into that when you're working more from home, you don't have that separation. So like for me, like a drive home after a long day at work was always kind of therapeutic in a sense. So a lot of people don't have that anymore. It was bad for our industry in a lot of ways, because I think you've got more acquisitions now, which aren't always a good thing. We've tried to shine some light on some people that are out there that are doing it great, acquisitions the right way or in a good way, but it's not always a positive thing. And I think the smaller the industry gets, it's not necessarily better for the industry. And to your point, or in contrast to your statement, Stephen, is that everything is more expensive and takes a lot longer now. Labor shortages, supply chain issues. Like, if you go to China, you're still getting quarantined for 3 weeks before you can do anything. So there's no commercial airliners. Capacity for air freight is like through the floor. Price has skyrocketed on everything. There's definitely pros and cons. Go ahead, Meg.
Yeah, I have to agree. I'm on the fence, right? So when you look at overall numbers, the overall volume. Sorry, now I'm over here. The overall volume that we did as an industry went down, and that was including the millions and billions of dollars we did in PPE. So that's stop it, you guys. I have. Which one do I look at? Which one do I look at? Stop it.
I kind of want to do a two-phase situation here. Go ahead. Now the other side. Okay. There you go.
But I think, and then the layoffs. I remember that was very scary. I think we were all very scared those first couple of months, not knowing what was going to happen, not knowing if we were going to lose our jobs or if our friends were going to lose our jobs. And that's always the scary part. But what I love about what COVID did to our industry was the creativity, the ingenious, the just everything that came out of it that was positive. All of the technology, all of the relationships that Stephen was saying, like, there are so many more people that I have touched in this industry because of COVID that I would have never have had the opportunity to, because this podcast went video versus audio. Being on the Promo Cares board, that would have never happened. One thing, all this is good. PPF that I've been able to get involved in, these live concert series. None of this, I think, would have even come about if we weren't pushed to do it. So we were kind of forced to really evolve and adapt to the new situations. And I think that as an industry, we did really, really well. And I think we're back on track and we're doing really well as an industry.
I think you mentioned. Oh, go ahead, Jeff. Sorry.
I was going to say one problem that I have with the whole hybrid situation though is that because people aren't necessarily back in their office or they're telecommuting multiple days out of the week, for a supplier sales rep, I've found that it's actually a lot harder now that we are back on the road. Like, it's harder to book meetings, and when you do book meetings, it's before, like, I used to be very flexible when I was on the road as far as my schedule. Like, people knew I was coming that day, but there wasn't like a set time. It was, very flux, and you can't really do that anymore. So it's actually made it a little bit more challenging and difficult from that aspect.
I agree. Go ahead.
I was going to say, this is a topic, and I'm glad that we represent different sides where I can see how certain things may be bad for a supplier or good for a supplier, and the opposite for the distributor. And the only other thing I'll mention, because I know we probably want to rapid fire these topics so we get more of them, but I know, because it's a good one, but market share, I think while we were in it, the market share of the industry was shifted to digital, just like we shifted a lot of our marketing to digital and things like that. But I think this is like a good news, bad news. I think this is going to be one of those things, especially as we saw this year, of how fast the industry is rebounding, that it's one of those things where you don't know how good it was until it was gone. Like, everyone went digital, no one had anything physical. And now that we're doing physical products again, people are like, oh, dang, like, this is what we were missing. Like, this is that piece that we really shouldn't have gotten rid of. We shouldn't have been one of everybody, one of everybody else who's investing digital. So I think it's going to eventually, maybe another year down the road, we're going to see the market share recaptured, if not gained. But we'll see. Time will tell.
Yeah, I know.
All right, topic number 2.
Let's do it.
Sweet. All right. Sustainability isn't sustainable.
Is it?
I don't know. Christina, you had mentioned the other day that a lot of the reasons why people sort of steered away from it was because of cost, right? Like, that was one of the.
Yeah, I can outline my initial reaction to it. This is where I think the disclaimer should come in. I don't think new initiatives are bad, and I don't think that doing stuff for good is bad. I think that we have to look at the reality of things, though, in some cases of, yes, doing this and bringing on these new types of products to our industry is amazing. It's absolutely needed. It's 100% overdue. The reality is budgets don't necessarily move because of the types of products with certain customers. Some companies, they have initiatives built in where they will spend more to be able to advertise and or cooperate with their initiatives and to help in the way that they see fit. Just like it was with Made in America products. Great idea. The pricing never matched up with the idea, so much so that my customers were willing to pay the difference to move in that direction. Even though they were passionate about it, they weren't passionate about it enough. Right now, some customers were. And I think that's the same with sustainability. This year and end of last year, I've seen more and more push towards it. I mean, Meg, I think you've mentioned before how like Adidas, like 80% or 90% of their new products, all with water bottles, like, or recycled bottles, like things like that. Like, a lot of new product and development is great, and the price seems to be the same. So then that's a win-win.
And it kind of compares to like the American made, it's the same scenario. Like, with American made, people would love an American made product. The problem is they see the price tag that's 3 times as much as the one from China or wherever. They're like, oh, okay, yeah, I'll stick with the import.
Yeah.
Sustainability, certainly, if the items aren't cost effective or efficient, then it's going to prohibit. But I think prices have come down a ton on sustainable items. My one issue that I have with sustainability or sustainable products is the fact that I think a lot of people are just jumping a bit on a bandwagon and maybe even greenwashing to some extent, where you're not really doing it for the right reasons. And let's face it, the paper straw is not saving the freaking sea turtles. Okay, go ahead, Meg. I'll let you go off on that one.
You hit my trigger.
Oh, that's my trigger too. I cannot stand a freaking paper straw.
I can't either. I literally can't either. Man, so yeah, you guys hit a lot of the points, right? It's a great thought. It's a great, sustainability, like saving the world, great. And then people's self-preservation does come in. But I will say that over the last couple of years, I have seen a dramatic shift in this in our industry, and I think it's incredible. And I think it comes down to, from the consumer, more demanding it all the way up. And I'm going to say that too because for me, this really started with one of my customers had called me, and he's like, Meg, what's your most eco-friendly t-shirt? And at that time, I'm just like, I don't know, man. Like, I don't know. This one has like 6% recycled material. And I sent it over. He's like, no, Meg, I need you to think a little bit deeper on that level, right? Great, it has recyclable material in it, but how much water was used to dye that fabric? Was it sent from one place to another? Think about the air stuff, whatever. Like, there was a bunch of little moving parts, and I was like, I never really thought about it that way, and it really started to open my eyes. Just because a product it doesn't have to start with the actual materials being eco-friendly, right? It has to come down to the processes. It has to come down to what that company is doing. If they have a CSR plan, there's just so many moving parts. But it really opened my eyes. The fact that next year for our new product preview meetings, the first 15 to 20 minutes for every brand that we spoke to, they were telling us what they were doing from that initiative as far as how they're cutting back on water usage. Bella Canvas, for instance, all of their scraps were being reused and recycled into like pillow stuffing or dog beds or whatever. So they're keeping these products out of the landfill and they're keeping the water cleaner, which kind of leads me to our next event very quickly for Water for Good that we're doing with PROMOCORNER. We are highlighting what we as an industry are doing to water quality globally. And we're really going to light that up, and we're going to be utilizing a lot of resources from our industry, and we've partnered with Planet Water. So on World Water Day next year, we're actually going to fly to Mexico City to build water towers. It's really exciting. So it doesn't have to just be about a recycled or an eco-friendly product. There's a whole line of stuff. So this could be a whole episode, guys. You know this. You know me.
Hot button alert. All right. Yeah. If you're doing free samples as a supplier, are you a sustainable supplier?
Well, here's the thing.
Or are you donating to the brandfill?
If you're just throwing a bunch of shit at the wall to see what sticks, yeah, you are donating to the brandfill. There, I said it.
Your sample closet, how much of it were free samples?
They're still in his closet, so we might use them one day.
I have one more. I have a little quick story. Okay, sure. So I was talking to a customer. We were talking about product options, and I mentioned sustainable products to them. Right, they were the type of customer that would be willing to do this, and as part of their initiative, I saw it on their website, something that they cared about. So I pitched these products, and the response to me was interesting. They said the cost difference to the price of the products that were sustainable that they were interested in versus the cost of the products that were not sustainable. They were like, we can give more in a donation to a cause of our choice than we could if we bought the product that was already sustainable. And so it's like, where does the responsibility then fall if the company is passionate about something and they're still taking the difference in the cost and putting it towards something? That's great. Like that's perfectly fine. And until the gap, starts to narrow, which I think it has, and I think we've addressed that. I know Headwear just launched an entire eco range, and honestly, I see like the pricing there is no gap really. I mean, at least and we could go into like how eco are the products. Like some of them are advertised as eco, but it's like they're not really. It's like you still have it wrapped in plastic and shipped in a box and shipped in another box. It's like.
Well, Stephen, at that, I would say to your customer,
we recycle our boxes. We're cheap.
Yeah. That's what you need to talk about to that customer, Stephen. It's like it's not just about this product. Maybe it's the wrong product. Maybe it's like
this is a while ago. Yeah, no, I got you. Yeah.
So I would love for you to reach out to me next time you have a project like that. I would love to help you.
Well, it was like when straws first came out. There was a group that was talking about how, yeah, this is great, except they were all shipped in individually wrapped plastic, and it's like, what's the point?
All right. What's the next topic?
Overseas labor is a good solution for local labor issues.
All right.
I started the last two, so one of you starts, and then I'll.
All right.
I'll try
So, never mind. I don't want to start. Go ahead, Jeff.
I can start, but Jeff, go ahead.
I don't know. I think people just need to go back to work. Sorry, I said it. I mean, I honestly, like, what do these people do? Like, honestly, I mean, I don't know. Like, if nobody's working, I don't know. That's a whole nother.
Yeah,
Go ahead,
I
Steven.
agree. All right.
I'll take a side.
I got it. All right. So
Okay.
overseas, right? Okay. So let's start. I'm going to start with a company that I know. Let's start with Michael Reesbaum's company, because I know he's going to be on a future podcast, and we're going to talk about staffing. So let's just talk about it right here. We're
Delegate
probably
CX, right?
Yeah, Delegate. Yeah, sorry,
Yep.
I might say wrong. Delegate. Yeah.
CX,
Okay.
Yep.
We're in this era. It's called the Great Resignation. Now I think it's like it's now we're trying to get people to go back to work, not necessarily quitting. People realize their value, and they weren't going to maybe be in a toxic work environment. So now they're at a point where it's hard to get people to come back to work for specific things that really aren't that fun and sexy, like customer service. Like, you guys know, after what we just went through, customer service was a really tough job to be in. So if you can push that somewhere overseas, and you can maybe work with a company like Michael's, and they're very good employees, and they have a whole training program, and I don't know their whole process, but I really think what they've set up and how they've worked it out is very unique. So that being a specific instance, yes, but in my past, my experience has not been good there.
All right, so I will fly through this as quick as I can. Morally, I feel conflicted with this one, because when we started as a company, we had a decoration, and part of decoration was a value add to our company. It wasn't really a profit center. We were like, this is great. We can provide more jobs, right? And there were even times, especially during COVID, we're like, we'll figure out how to keep everybody and make masks using the machines. We want to provide jobs. We want to feel like we're doing our part in our local community to provide places for people to work and make a living and be a part of a company culture that we're proud of. And so I've always, I've kind of come full circle. There was I don't know if it's a documentary or like a vlog that Jason Lucas and his team, I don't know if you remember seeing this, where they went overseas to the factory in China, and we're talking about the global economy and how many families that they're supporting at their factory level, and how that connected they are with all those people, and meeting the people. And it's like, we're all people, right? Like, whether I'm supporting someone here, there were still people that needed jobs there, right? And they're supporting them. And it doesn't mean to displace the job locally, because we've talked about this in other episodes, how we are better at certain things in other countries, and other countries are better than us at certain things. Some things can be replaced and some things can't, whether it be certain types of manufacturing, or if it's something that has to be done here with a machine, versus overseas with a computer. And so I've always felt conflicted, where I would never want to replace a job that we already have with just something because it's less expensive, right? Having said that, we have a Delegate CX employee now, and so it wasn't a new position. It wasn't an existing position. It was a new position. And my first question I talked to them about, and we'll let them talk about it at a future podcast, but was like, yes, it's less expensive to me. What does that equate to locally for them? Because dollar to different currencies could be valued differently. And, a dollar here could be worth $100 there. I want to make sure it's still fair wherever they're at. Like, it still needs to be good. So we had a lot of questions and dynamics, and I can get behind it. So I'll stop and let that breathe. But that's kind of where I went with the whole.
That was good.
Overseas.
I can get through it.
Yeah, I mean, I just think there's certain positions that really can't be replaced with overseas labor.
Agreed.
Oh, 100%.
Agree.
All right. Anything else to add on that one?
No, I think that's it. I think it was really good to have different perspectives. We haven't done this in a while, and it was really nice.
We got one more.
Do you want to do the last one? It's going to be spicy.
It's going to be a speed round, though. Okay. It's It's easier to sell as a supplier than a distributor.
Back.
For sure.
You said yes, it is, Meg?
No.
Sell as a supplier? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so you and Jeff disagree.
Oh, you disagree?
Oh, it's way easier to sell as a distributor than it is a supplier. You have a set number. Hold on. Unless you're selling direct, you have a set number of clientele as a supplier. You can only sell to a distributor. And you're not really selling to that distributor. You're selling to the end user through the distributor, if that makes sense. You're not talking to the person that's actually purchasing the product. Secondly. Thirdly, you guys also have access. Hey, Meg, why don't you just tone it down there, right? You guys have options to sell every solution on the planet. As a single source supplier, you've got one solution to offer. So, yeah, your options are a lot more broad. Like, you could literally go and do anything in the industry.
All right. Have you had to deal with an end user lately? No,
I'm dealing with hundreds of distributors.
See, hundreds. Do you need any more than that? That's the thing. I feel like there is enough business in this industry for everyone. I feel like being a supplier, you're right. I have a set amount of distributors that I can work with. Matter of fact, I'm in my own territory because I can't handle much more than I already have on my plate. With that being said, they already know who SMS is. They know who I am. It's all about building that relationship. And I don't have to, I don't know. I don't know. I've been on both sides of it. I feel like being a distributor, you really maybe it should be my job too. I don't know. I work hard either way. I don't know. I just think it's easier.
You're gonna work hard either way. Yeah. Neither one of them is easy. You're still selling. You're still dealing with the same stuff. It's different. You know what I mean? Yeah. But I feel like as far as to get you to a certain number or a set number of clients or whatever it might be, I feel like it's easy to approach that number as a distributor with unlimited number of end users out there versus the 10,000 or 27,000 distributors, whatever there is. You know what I mean?
So here's my perspective as the other side, and I'm actually really happy both of you disagree. That was cool. My perspective of the supplier side, the larger your brand and the bigger your presence in the industry already, the easier and the more unique your product options are, the easier it would be for you as a supplier, because you would then have less competition in certain areas, or you'd have more visibility to someone like me who's already looking for that item. The assumption that I think that I could be wrong about, if you're talking to a distributor and we're talking about a project, we are going to buy something, right? Like we're talking to the supplier because we are interested in a product you already have. Whereas if I'm talking to a customer, they may not be interested at all. They may already be ordering from somebody else, right? So there it is. We're in the house. We're in the family. COVID. So from my perspective, it's more challenging knowing that I'm talking to people that could never order forever, and I could be going in door to door. I could be calling people, and I have zero idea whether they're going to order or not. Yeah. Whereas if I was on the supplier
it's the same situation for a supplier. See, the problem is that end user is buying product. They just might not be buying it from you, Stephen. Just like if you are dealing with Headwear, we may be going through the process, but you might never place that order. It's the same exact scenario.
Do you think it'd be easier if you had a different supplier?
Items. What's that?
Do you think that my original argument of a bigger supplier would make it easier for you as a sales rep?
Yes, I agree with you 1,000%.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think there are different challenge levels. There's different hardness scales.
Okay. Here's a hot button statement for you right there. Okay. That's because so many people are lazy, or they don't have the time to actually source appropriately. So they'll buy their hats from Sanmar, or they'll buy their hats from Alpha, or they'll buy their hats from
S&S.
Yeah, those guys. They're just it's lazy, it's easy, it's convenient. Like, I get it, but there are so many better options out there if done and sourced correctly. So I agree with your point. That one 100%. Yes.
And I think too, if there's an item that only one person carries, right, you kind of have that cornered, assuming someone's interested in it to begin with.
Well, that was.
Yeah.
So like the wine bottle company, for instance, like what is it, triple A wine or something like that? I think it is. Like there's only.
You talking about A plus wine? Yeah, A plus wine.
Yeah, There may be competition, but I mean, if there are, I don't know about them. So are they the only ones doing, decorated wine bottles? I mean, maybe. And if they are, then hey, they've got that corner of the market. They've got it cornered. Yeah. But how much demand for that is there? I mean, more than enough to be sufficient.
I mean, if you're only one supplier and you have every distributor, I would think it'd be pretty high. You need a much smaller percentage to make it work, I guess. In that case,
correct.
And there's people that have created services and programs that are unique, right? And so that's beneficial. But anywho, that was good. I like that one.
Yep, I can't wait to see.
Be a supplier, no matter what you say. I wouldn't. I mean, God forbid. I love my job. I love SNS. I love what I get to do, and I just would not want to be on the other shoes. Whatever. Anyway.
So do we want to go with the whole cancel culture thing? Like, do we want to have people post in the comments who's getting canceled out of the three of us?
I know. Post in the comments below. Who's getting canceled?
All right. Well, look, I had fun. I think it's definitely a lot of fun to sort of discuss these things in the industry, and this was a really cool topic. Obviously, business is great. Things are awesome. Distributors and suppliers, both alike, are kick-ass. And look, we're in it together. It's a partnership. So, anyhow, really fun today, guys. Appreciate you. This broadcast was brought to you by our good friends over at TechWeld. Look, they've got a lot of awesome kit options. They've got this whole thing, like the Come Kit Around With Us initiative to push kits. They've got 8 different stock packaging ideas for their kits. They've got an EVA bag, a PVC tent pouch, PVC tube, an organza bag, the pillow pouch, the BTL 202, which is a 30-ounce tumbler, and they've got a retro lunchbox, which are awesome. Not many players in the industry are focusing too heavily on kits, which really allow them to hone in on the market with these products and expand upon their already vast kit line. So, look, you got to remember to think TechWeld for your promotional product needs. TechWeld's a leading supplier of promotional products with a huge inventory of made-in-the-USA items available to help distributors grow their bottom line today. Visit TechWeld, TEKWELD.com, and check out their drinkware, sanitizer, kit options, and much more. Tell them the Industry Insider sent you. And with that, guys, appreciate you. If one of us aren't back on the show, it's, we know why now. So, until next
nice
week.
Doing the podcast with you, Jeff.
Yeah, I guess it'll be just you two next week. All right, take care, guys.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to this week's episode of Promo Corner's Industry Insider. For more great content from industry thought leaders, including podcasts, blogs, and videos, visit promocorner.com.